Astrologically speaking, the Agni is also very closely connected to Mangala, to Mars. In fact, specifically, Agni is Mars, and the deity connected to the planet Mars is Lord Skanda. Lord Skanda, the son of Shiva, is born in the Kritika. Kritika nakshatra is ruled by Agni, and he is the manifestation of the higher Agni that destroys and burns up all negativity. And Agni is also in Vedas called Kumar. He is the child, he is the youth, he is the one that is immediately born and transformative. And here we have a very interesting correlation. We've been talking about Ganapati Muni's work, and Ganapati honored Ramana by identifying him with Lord Skanda, Muruga, and even the Agni of the Vedas. And he connects then also Agni with the principle of self-inquiry, tracing our thoughts back to their origin as the Agni within the heart. What is his version of Vaishwanara Vidya. There's some very important hymns in Rig Veda. In the first mandala, the hymns of the Rishi Parashara, in which this Vedic Vaishwanara Vidya is taught, taking our awareness back to that central immortal flame that is with us when we are born, that is with us when we pass away, that itself is beyond birth and death, that endures through all the states of waking, dream, and sleep, which never goes out, which is ever accessible, but we have to merge the mind back into the heart, trace our thoughts back to the origin, move back to the pure self that is the, as the Upanishads say, the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, mind of mind, the self behind the self, the pure I behind all manifestation. So if one understands the Agni Rahasya, or the secret of Agni, one can understand really everything in the universe, and one can also understand different branches of yoga, different branches of Vedic science. In a very practical way, you can understand the state of your Jataragni, the state of your Pranagni, state of your Buddhi, and all the rest of it. So much more could be said. I think I have probably taken my time. No? 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Oh, good. Then I can keep going on here. So the Agni Rahasya is one of these key foundational teachings that we have on all the levels of the Vedic thought. And it's important then to be able to be aware of Agni, not just simply as a principle on one level, but as working on all levels. And here then, I would like to introduce you to another form of Agni. One of the most important forms of Agni is the Agni that dwells within the earth. Now, if we look at the earth from a scientific standpoint, there is a central core flame within the earth. So when we are honoring Agni, or saying Agni is the deity of the earth, we are also honoring that Devata, or that divine principle within the earth. So in the Havans, we are connecting our own inner Agni to that Agni in the earth, and we are awakening and bringing out that divine presence on the planet. In this regard, the Vedic teaching has the ultimate ecological value and the ultimate value for making us aware and connected to the whole of nature. And here we need to understand that each one of us is Agni. We are all Agnis. Now, if we look at our physical body, what are we? We are walking stoves or walking ovens. We have to continually feed the digestive fire within us, or our bodily temperature will go down, and of course, we'll have all the other health problems. So each one of us is an Agni in manifestation. Agni is said to be the deity of the earth, which means the deity of form, the deity that creates shape, the deity that creates color, the deity that is the overriding ruling power here. But that same Agni then becomes the electrical force in the atmosphere, and the electrical force, the Vidyut Shakti, and this is connected to all the serpent forms, and it's connected to every type of electrical energy, specifically to the prana itself. Prana is this electrical force, the Vayu, and if we look at the world according to the modern physics, the universe consists of basically two things. Space has wormholes in it, and these wormholes all have this electrical force running through it. This is the electrical aspect of the Agni. Even the pranic Agni that exists within the physical body is more an electrical force, because being, of course, a pranic or life force. We don't actually have a burning fire in our stomach. You can't swallow a piece of it, and you don't have smoke coming out. The food has to be liquefied and placed in a subtle constituency so that electrical aspect of the Agni can work upon it. So the Agni then has its earthly form, its atmospheric form, and its heavenly form as the Surya. Surya is not just the sun, but all the planetary influences are coming in the sphere of heaven and the sphere of Surya. So these higher forms of light and Agni are governing the universe at a broader level, and they're also governing over the forces of time and karma. And the manifest world, with its three forms of Agni, then is connected to and rooted in with the unmanifest realm, or the supreme form of Agni. So this Agni Vidya allows us to understand each level of the universe, and Agni on each level is the power of transformation. Agni has a twofold action, one to purify, to remove what is negative, and the second to nourish, to cook the food. Even the Devis manifest from Agni. Jataveda say, Sunavamasom, Durga Devi, Durgam Devim Sharmaham Prapadye. She manifests from the Agni, and she represents the Agni force as the Maheshwari, or the supreme ruling power. Today is also the first of the 9 Navaratris of the spring. I don't know how commonly it's celebrated in the south. It is celebrated more fairly commonly in the Himalayan region. But even Lakshmi in the Sri Sukta is also manifesting from the Agni force as the divine light, but also the Agni force as our own Jivatma, or inner self, and as our own quality of awareness. So the essence of all Vedic sadhana is to cultivate one's Agni, which is to cultivate one's deepest sankalpa, deepest power of will and motivation, but is also to cultivate the mindfulness. Agni in Vedic thought also relates to vak, or speech, and is the power of the mantra, which is the ultimate power. Even at a physiological level, our main activity is through the vocal organ, or the voice. We are a product of the food that we eat through the Jataragni, and the Agni that we express through Vak. Purifying form of Agni becomes the weapon of the Devas, which destroys all the Asuras. That's why Skanda Kartikeya, with his veil, with his Shakti, is the manifestation of the Agni as well. So this Agni principle we can work with on all these different levels, and we can understand very practically, starting with the quality of aspiration that we have in our lives, quality of soul awareness, moving into very practical disciplines in Ayurveda, judging all forms of Agni can run high or low or balanced or irregular. We can use the Agni Vidya to understand how the body is working, the prana senses, main Agni sense is the eyes, and so forth. And finally, I would like to say, in understanding the Vedas, we see the presence of Lord Shiva, or Rudra. All of you know the Rudram, which comes from the Ayurveda. Rudra is the essence of all the yagyas. Rudra is also Agni, but Shiva is actually all the Vedic deities. Shiva has the three eyes, Agni, Soma, Surya, and he has his Shakti, or electrical energy, which is the Vidyut, Vayu, or the Indra principle. So actually, Lord Shiva holds all the four light forms that are the predominant Vedic deities. But ultimately, at a foundation level, we approach Shiva through Agni. We must always maintain a perpetual Agni and never let it go out. Now, of course, we can't always maintain an outer physical Agni. There are fires in India that have been burning for hundreds of years. But we can always maintain the inner spiritual Agni, the yogic Agni, the connection with Atma, Angushta, Matra, Purusha, the flame within, and particularly the essence of the Vedas. And in closing, I would like to say, the Padma Bhushan Award, one of the things I'm promoting through that is the cause of Vedic education in India, and that we need to teach the basics of Yoga, Vedanta, and Ayurveda in the schools. And we should also create new schools of Vedas, Yoga. We need a National Vedic University. Why don't we have one? All these things need to be done. And it should be the inspiration of the youth, as well as those of us who are older, to get that work done. So may that Agni come forth again, and may all of us be before that supreme power, that supreme Agni as Paramatma. Namaste.